Hey traders, Raghee here. Welcome to another episode of Charts and Coffee. All right, good to see everybody. Let's get a quick audio and video check-in. Should be good to go. Happy Monday, everybody. All right, audio and video are good to go. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so welcome to our Monday episode of Charts and Coffee. Let's get to it. A couple things on my radar for today, and that is, looking for more of the continuation to the upside in the broader averages. Now, if you've woken up to a bearish ES, here's an intraday look at the ES at the moment. Taking a look at the bearish ES, let me show you a few things. A little tip for my intraday traders, okay? And this is definitely something to think about. All right, the market opens for us, on the future side, on the Forex side of things. The market opens for us on Sunday, 6 p.m. All right, but this is also just the Asian session, and it's Auckland, Sydney, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Singapore, just overlapping, and it takes about an hour or so for all of that. Well, if you start with Auckland, it takes almost 2 hours for the Asian session to be fully participated in. All right, so you guys can't see my screen. Well, that's unusual because I'm looking at it right now. Can only see the splash screen. Strange. Give it a minute. Just give it a minute, gang. Just give it a minute because I can only, it should pop up. All right, so we have Sunday at 6 p.m. Now, what gets more interesting is as we move forward, all right, we get into Monday, right? Monday morning, 2 a.m. Now, this is all Eastern time. It's the only time frame I discuss the market. Every time I throw a time out there, it will be Eastern. 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. is where you get the European and UK markets opening, right? So think about what's happening right in there, right? 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And what you'll notice is that, clearly Sunday we might have gaps, right? With Monday 2, 3, the volume and the volatility pick up. So it's volume and volatility, right? Volatility, right? But this is where, for us now, what are we interested in? Right in here. All right, and what is this? This is the first cup of coffee in the US session. First cup of coffee. That's actually happening at 7 a.m. Eastern. So you got to think about time, gang. When you're looking at the behavior of the markets to see who's doing what, and the who is the different financial times. So let's kind of zoom into 7 now. 7's a big deal for me for a lot of reasons. I anchor different indicators at 7. So I just want to show you, where is the weakness coming in? There's 7. There's 7. It's the US where the weakness is coming in. We were pretty choppy through Asia, pretty choppy through Europe, and then we can decidedly see that bearishness coming in. And so those of you that have my VWAP Max toolkit, right? My VWAP Max tools, you will anchor, right? You're going to start anchoring and looking at the different lows and finding out what those V-score, that's what this is down here, what those V-score extremes are. Because what we want to find out is, as we're getting this participation coming through the market, where are those volume-based support and resistance levels? I'm still very, very bullish. I don't know if you guys can see it. I've got my bull shirt, got the bull shirt on. I'm still very bullish, and I'm even more so. I get even more enthused about a potential entry if we have a pullback, because the pullbacks are the opportunity to get long the market. All right. So the pullbacks are the opportunity. So whether that be the ES, the NQ, a lot of the market starts to panic when we're heading lower. Most of those are momentum buyers or financial media because, stonks don't go down, don't you know? Hard to argue with that, though, but they do correct from time to time. So it's in these smaller moves to the downside. It's in moves like this, right? And this is where I've built my career. This is what we take advantage of in our Sector Secrets Mastery. And in the futures room, it's waiting for a candle like today to reach some sort of low. And, long from lower is definitely the mantra. Long from lower. All right. And so I'm going to be very opportunistic to the long side today. All right. So let's get into some questions. All right. And it looks like everyone's got audio and video now, which is great. All right. Can I look at TAN? Sure. I'm happy to look at TAN. That's one of our trades from Sector Secrets. And we have been in TAN. The problem with TAN is we're just going to run out of time on our options. I'm trying to remember when we initially got into TAN. It's been some time. I think we got into TAN mid or early. I could probably just take a look at the chart and tell you. I think we got into it mid or early November, right in here. So what's going to happen here is with the expiration that we have, at some point I'm just going to have to scale out completely because at this point I actually have a trailing stop. Now I'm mentioning that because if I have a prior trade, I'm managing an open trade while simultaneously I'm interested in a new one, right? So Janet, yeah, I am interested in a new one. So you'll notice we've had that red dot here. And yes, can we get that second dot here? Absolutely. I'm looking to see if we can get it. But the entry then is at an 8 EMA. So I'm still waiting. I am still waiting. I love the entry, but this is right now, even at pre-market 116, not enough of a pullback for me. I'm glad it's doing that, but not enough of a pullback. But good eye, really good eye. Okay, next up is, hey there, Skylar. So again, thanks. And by the way, what is Janet referring to? Janet's referring to a tool that we use in the Simpler Futures and in the Sector Secrets Mastery Room, which is known as propulsion. That's actually a propulsion tool. And propulsion is, just as its name suggests, it's indicating where the market could start organizing, gaining traction, moving to the up or downside. This would be to the upside. But it's also an exponential moving average replacement. Or as I like to say, it's a self-correcting or smart EMA. All right. And that's one of the many free tools that I use. That's part of the TOPS indicator package. Oh, you guys got a cameo from the cat. He has taken over the throne here in the office. That's the that's the cat. He rules all things in this office. Oh my gosh. Okay. So next up, Skylar asks, just joined Sector Secrets. Congratulations and thank you and welcome. And I love that you're there. Excellent. I am so excited for you to be joining us this year. If you haven't ever used trend following swing trading strategies, it's going to blow your mind, my friend. Thank you. I understand that we want double green coming into the wave. Yes, there's going to be times when I'm open to a yellow. There's going to be times where when we look at our structure, now tan is a fantastic double green, right? Tan is a fantastic double green. However, there'll be times like this over here that I will be open to yellow entries. So the idea is to make sure that we're dealing with a market where the path of these resistance is to the upside. And look at all this green. Yeah, even on those temporary yellows, we're good to go. Yeah, so, but yes. So we understand we want double green coming into the wave. You got it, having it been relative outperform. Yeah, that's the main criteria, Skylar. And then, of course, look, I'm not going to pressure you guys to find the trades and to find the symbols and to find the setups. I mean, that's my job in the mastery. So what you're going to get, like for example, today I'm actually looking at the notes I was cooking up yesterday for the watch list and the setup. So we're actually as of January this year, what we're doing is rather than a giant watch list, which was a little over, it was a little bit of an intimidation factor. You know, I might be looking at 20, 30, 40 symbols, but maybe 20 of them are in a structure that I really like, and maybe another 5 of them have proximity. Yesterday, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to get 7 alerts from me today. Doesn't mean all 7 are entries. So I have 7 alerts, or what we, you know, and excuse me, and then from those alerts, we might actually have those setups trigger. So I alert you at the level where I'm watching it. That way we're ready when it actually triggers. So we have 7 of them that I can see right now coming out today. And things like ZS, Honeywell, Textron. Yeah, so I'll be sending those out shortly after the bell. What time? Sammy asked. So thank you, Skylar. I appreciate the question. Thanks so much. Sammy asked, what time do I think the market will recover? So time is part of it, Sammy. Time is part of it. I'll look at how the clearing range, the high and low of the clearing range. We can also look at the initial balance, high and low. But I'm mostly going to be focused on where my V-score and my VWAP and my hourly price movement range, or my volatility support and resistance, will be. So sure, I mean, I probably would expect it sometime between 10 and 10:30, but that's just a window time-wise. I need time to then overlap with the volatility and then give me some support levels. So it's really, in some ways, kind of minimally 3 things that I'm looking at. So I hope that helps. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's after the clearing. However, that being said, today is not a gap for me, so I won't be looking for a fade right off the bat. We have a 2 criteria gap. So yes, we are opening below the close, but I'm not meeting both criteria for the gap. So this is not gap psychology today. So I won't be looking for an early fade. So probably after 10, yeah. All right, Harley asks, with so many double greens, what are the criteria for finding and watching a pullback? Price movement ranges, different factors like going into earnings, relative outperformance, support. I mean, so really what I'm looking for, another way to look at this, Harley, thank you for the question. Another way of looking at this is kind of succinctly put in, know your why, and not just one why, know your whys, right? I kind of joke and call this the Simon Sinek school of trading. You guys know Simon Sinek, he's the why guy. He's the know your why, find your why, start with why, that guy. Well, I look at it, he didn't say know your, I don't know, maybe he did say know your why. I know he's got all your different whys, but for me, it's a know your why, right? That's the Ragheeism of it. And what that means is, what are the different whys? How can I stack these, right? You want more than one reason. You want stacked whys. A lot of traders have, say, one criteria, right? Let's imagine you have 2 or 3 different checkboxes, criterias that you're looking at, and it could be support. It should definitely involve the trend quality. Perhaps it's relative outperformance that's factoring in. Maybe we have an event that's factoring in, a data event or earnings, things like that. Perhaps it's the propulsion, right? And the more of these boxes that I can check, boom, boom, right? The more boxes I can check, the happier I am, because at this point I've stacked multiple whys. Okay. So the whys are going to be a little different for each entry, but it's still a process of stacking whys. I hope that helps. Grain of salt. Hey there. Why do propulsion dots shrink down? What do they shrink? Oh, I didn't notice that they shrink. You actually, grain of salt. And by the way, and this is for folks who are thinking, Rog, I kind of like the idea of using some of these tools, but oh my gosh, the tech. We have a Tech Friday session that I do for members at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm happy to talk about that then, Green, but these are set in the trade station. If you go into edit, you can actually set the style and make them whatever size you want. So they should not change in terms of the visibility, the size on the screen. Yeah, I mean, you can see here, it shouldn't make any difference. So that's interesting. I didn't know that it does that. Oh, let me mention though, grain of salt, I am on TS10. And I really recommend most folks go over to TS10. It's very stable. I know early on, not a lot to love about it, but I've been using it now for well over a year. I moved out of 9.5 and I love TS10. Absolutely love TS10. Can we talk about Tesla? Gladly. All right, so it's parabolic. Parabolic. That's all there is to say about it, my friend. So Glenn, when we have a parabolic market, if it's freshly parabolic, which this one is not, this one went freshly parabolic back in here, it's very tricky, very tricky. For most traders in this window, I would probably, it's not my cup of tea because I won't engage a market that's this parabolic, but I would say you're better off going intraday, say a 60 minute, say a 30 minute, gosh, even a 240 or 120, just so you could take advantage of more minor pullbacks to buy into. I'm not a fan of breakout high buys. Yeah, you can do it in a parabolic market. It's the only time you should do it, really, to trade higher highs with, and this is the important part, volume confirmation, right, when the market is parabolic. And that's a very specific setup. Now, that's just me. I'm that specific because to me, the environment, the market environment, the market trend, if you want to call it that, environment is everything. It's everything. It dictates the indicators you use. It dictates the strategy that you'll use. It dictates the expectations that you have. Environment is everything. All right. Okay, so thank you for that question. Am I interested in FXE? I am interested. I have been interested. I've been definitely engaging it. Jacques, yes, 1,000%. 1,000%. So what this is this is US dollar or USD, right? This would be the futures symbol. USD versus euro, or more specifically, it's euro versus USD. Now, why is this is the way to phrase it? Because this is directionally sympathetic to the euro, this is the first currency or the base currency. This is the second currency. Now, what's the difference? Well, again, directionally, this is going to move with the bullishness of the euro. I'm very bearish dollars. Yeah, I'm very bearish. So when it comes to US dollars, if I can short them against the euro, pound, Canadian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, pretty much most of the major or minor currencies, except for Swiss franc and yen, not those two. So I'm not interested in, say, FX, what is it? S? Well, I'm trying to remember what FXF. I'm not interested in FXF, and I'm not interested in FXY. Right. But yeah, C, A, B, E, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so in sector secrets, do I send alerts for entries as well? I try to, but remember, since you have the levels, you have the specific triggers out there, I don't ever want you guys. So here's how we do it. And thank you for the question. If I just tell you when I got in, and let's say you get this 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 30 minutes later, You may not get this entry if that's all I told you. So really the first responsibility I have is to tell you when I want to get in, what price triggers we're looking for, right? And then that I finally did get in. That's sort of past tense. So it's really a twofer you're getting is really what it is. You get a heads up, right? That's what this is. This is when I'm going to do something. Heads up, we're looking for a certain price trigger. And then boom, yes, we got the price trigger. And you don't want to rely on number 2 only, and you don't have to, because you can use conditional orders. You can use alerts on your platform to let you know that the price trigger was reached. So you're not always sort of a step behind what the market is doing. I don't want you guys necessarily feeling that you're just waiting for whatever random moment a stock or an ETF reaches the trigger where we can buy the option. Right? I want you proactive. I want you ready, right? Like they say in sports, ready position. So then, yeah, but I will let you know when I do get in. That's the plan. But the triggers are really the priority. Okay. All right. So let me, so the question about the window, we'll talk about that tomorrow. I don't know that we're going to see that pullback. I don't know that we're going to see it, my friend. I don't have a ton of entries. Right now we have a handful of entries. The one that I've got to be managing today is silver. That's of all the entries we have right now, this is the only one, giving you guys a free, again, transparent, right? In our show, I'm absolutely fine with talking about where I'm taking heat. This is the only one that I'm taking any major heat, but I'm interested in getting in again. But everything else is going to rely on some movement lower. Again, the trigger means for us in a bullish market, when I send out the alerts, the trigger means that I'm looking for the market to move lower, right? So I'm actually in many ways trying to capitalize on that. Okay. All right, gang. So I hope that helps. I'll see you tomorrow for our next episode, if you will, of Charts and Coffee.